Excuse me, this exclusive area is reserved for genuine VIPs, not elderly veterans in military surplus clothing. The hostess's words sliced through the air before she imperiously signaled security with a snap of manicured fingers. He never uttered a word of protest, never challenged her authority. He simply rose with quiet dignity, exited the space, and waited stoically beneath the downpour. Moments later, the tranquility shattered. A convoy of three midnight SUVs screeched to a halt at the entrance. A decorated four-star general emerged, rendered honors to the now vacant chair, and demanded in a thunderous voice, "Where is the man you just ejected?" His next declaration sent shockwaves through the establishment. "You've all just terminated your employment. If you believe true rank manifests through actions rather than insignia, honor the unassuming warriors in the comments below." Retired Command Sergeant Major William Pearson, 76, had witnessed countless battlefields across his distinguished career, yet never anticipated facing such disrespect on home soil. He'd received a formal invitation to a military appreciation celebration hosted at a prestigious downtown hotel, dressed in his customary attire, meticulously polished boots, immaculately pressed khaki trousers, and a well-worn but dignified army jacket. Upon entering the VIP reception area, he offered a respectful acknowledgement. A youthful hostess scrutinized him from head to foot, then declared dismissively, "Sir, this area is exclusively for specially invited distinguished guests. The general waiting area is through the main lobby." William presented his invitation bearing the event director's personal signature. She scoffed contemptuously. There must have been an administrative oversight. She summoned security with a discreet gesture. "Please escort this gentleman out." William offered no resistance. He simply departed silently, raindrops cascading across his shoulders. He positioned himself at the hotel's covered entrance, waiting for nothing in particular, just standing his ground. But a vigilant bellhop, a former Afghanistan serviceman, took notice. He placed an urgent, concise call, mentioning just a single name. Inside, William's absence went completely unnoticed amid crystal flutes and rehearsed pleasantries. The hostess had already dismissed him from memory, now concentrating on welcoming celebrities adorned in bespoke suits with patriotic lapel pins. The bellhop approached cautiously. "Sir, were you stationed in Kandahar during 2010? William responded with a single affirming nod. "I suspected as much. You rescued my friend Martinez from that devastated structure during the major offensive." William remained silent. Some actions require no verbal affirmation. The young man retreated, phone already pressed to his ear. Three urgent words. "He's here, sir." William maintained his stoic stance, raindrops gradually darkening his jacket. Decades of military commitment had instilled in him the ability to endure conditions far more severe than a damp sidewalk and wounded dignity. Inside the celebration, the coordinator tapped her crystal glass, commencing remarks about honoring military sacrifice, while authentic service stood outside, unwelcomed. An elderly couple exited the hotel, immediately recognizing William's military bearing despite his civilian attire. The husband, wearing a Vietnam veteran cap, paused. "They've excluded you as well?" William shook his head. "Inappropriate attire, apparently." "Disgraceful," the man responded. "Which unit did you serve with?" 75th Rangers initially, then Special Forces Command, Sergeant Major." The man's expression shifted to profound respect. He offered a deferential nod. "Sir, shall we address this with management?" "No need to create discord," William replied. "I've maintained position in far less hospitable environments." The couple reluctantly continued onward, glancing back with evident concern. William consulted his timepiece. The invitation specified speeches would commence at 7 o'clock. He had made a personal commitment to attend, representing comrades who couldn't be present, men who never returned home. He would fulfill that promise, even if it meant enduring the downpour until the main ceremony began, his self-respect intact, his commitment unbroken, his composure unwavering. After all, what significance did rainfall hold compared to what he'd endured? What meaning did social rejection carry compared to brothers lost? What importance did momentary embarrassment hold against the lifetime burden carried by those who'd witnessed too much? He stood motionless as a cenotaph while inside. Individuals with no comprehension of true service celebrated it with premium vintages. Inside, executives and benefactors raised crystal flutes praising veteran support initiatives. No one registered the absence of an actual veteran until 3 government vehicles arrived, parking at aggressive angles across the hotel entrance. Staff members panicked. Was there a security threat? A demonstration? Then a 4-star general emerged, dress uniform immaculate, expression granite hard. "Where is Sergeant Major Pearson?" The hostess stammered nervously. I requested his departure." "You removed a Medal of Honor recipient from these premises?" "I wasn't aware of his," the general interrupted harshly. "You never inquired. You presumed." The general strode into the reception area, conversations immediately ceasing. "I attended tonight specifically because of his presence. I'm withdrawing if he's not welcomed." He retrieved his phone. "Cancel our financial support. We're relocating the entire function." The hotel manager attempted explanation. "We had absolutely no knowledge." "Then you have no business hosting individuals of his caliber." The general addressed the staff directly. "Consider yourselves relieved of duty." Profound silence descended. Glances darted between the general and the hostess, whose complexion had turned ashen. "General Blackwood, please." The event organizer intervened. "This is merely a misunderstanding." "Is it?" The general's words sliced through the atmosphere like a combat knife. "Command Sergeant Major Pearson has earned 3 Purple Hearts, a Silver Star, and the Medal of Honor. He rescued 26 men in Fallujah when all hope seemed lost. Yet you couldn't recognize the exceptional individual standing before you because he wasn't wearing designer attire." The hostess's hands trembled visibly. "He never mentioned any decorations." "That precisely illustrates my point," the general interjected. "Men of his caliber never do." Security personnel approached cautiously. "Sir, perhaps we could—" "You can locate Sergeant Major Pearson and escort him back with the profound respect he deserves. Immediately." The corporate sponsor shifted uncomfortably. Phones disappeared discreetly. The photographer ceased capturing images. The hotel manager rushed toward the entrance, while the general continued addressing the assembled guests. "Ladies and gentlemen, I suggest you contemplate the supposed purpose of this gathering. This isn't about publicity opportunities or tax benefits. This concerns men and women who gave everything their country requested, then contributed even more." His gaze swept the room, establishing eye contact with each person present. "How many here have served in uniform?" A sparse handful of hands rose hesitantly. "And how many would recognize the subtle indicators of service without formal uniforms and visible decorations?" No hands appeared. Outside, William continued his patient vigil when the flustered manager burst through the doors, breathless. "Sergeant Major Pearson, please. You must return inside immediately. General Blackwood is requesting your presence." William's expression remained impassive. "I have no desire to create disruption." "Sir, with all respect, disruption has already commenced. The general threatens to withdraw all military funding from our event unless you receive the honored guest treatment you deserve." William considered this momentarily, then acknowledged with a single nod. He followed the manager inside, maintaining the same quiet dignity he demonstrated upon leaving. As they approached the VIP area, whispers preceded them. Phones reappeared, now recording. The crowd parted instinctively. General Blackwood turned, spotting William. Without hesitation, he strode forward and executed a flawless salute. "Command Sergeant Major Pearson. I apologize for my delayed arrival, sir." William returned the salute with precision. "No apology necessary, General." The general's eyes narrowed, noting William's dampened clothing. "Were you waiting outside?" "There was confusion regarding my invitation," William stated simply. The general's jaw muscles tensed visibly. He turned to address the room. "This man saved my life in Fallujah. When our unit faced enemy fire and headquarters ordered withdrawal, He returned, not once, but 6 separate times, entirely alone. The silence deepened perceptibly. I care nothing about your celebrities or donor contributions. I'm present because he's present. And if he's unwelcome, then neither am I. The hostess stepped forward, face flushed crimson. Sir, I sincerely apologize. I had no idea who. That's precisely the issue, the general interrupted sharply. You shouldn't require someone's identity to treat them with fundamental dignity. The same dignity they risked everything to preserve for you. He turned back to William. What course would you prefer, sir? We can relocate this entire function. My staff is already making arrangements. William surveyed the room, absorbing the stunned expressions, the embarrassment, the sudden recognition. Unnecessary, he stated quietly. I came to represent those unable to attend. That remains my objective. The general nodded. Then we proceed, but with appropriate respect. He addressed the hostess and security personnel. As for you two, prepare your employment histories. You're dismissed. William positioned himself at the lounge entrance, still damp from rainfall, expression unchanged, neither triumphant nor vindictive, simply present, observing with the same careful attention that had preserved lives in combat zones. General Blackwood approached him, stood at attention, and formally saluted again. Permission to accompany you this evening, sir. Always granted, William replied softly. The first words many present had heard him speak, his voice deep, measured, carrying natural command. Together they proceeded through the hotel atrium toward the main function room. Now walking as equals, security personnel from the vehicles formed a protective formation around them. Unnecessary but deeply symbolic. Phones emerged, social media platforms activated. Whispers rippled through the gathering. Is that truly him, the Kandahar hero? Inside the grand ballroom, the evening's presentation had already begun. On the massive screen behind the podium, a photograph appeared. A younger William Pearson in combat gear, carrying an injured soldier through smoke and destruction during the Fallujah operations that preserved 36 American lives. The master of ceremonies, who had been introducing corporate sponsors, halted mid-sentence. His expression transformed from confusion to recognition to profound shame within moments. Ladies and gentlemen, he faltered, please welcome our true guest of honor, Command Sergeant Major William Pearson. The spotlight swung frantically until it located William entering alongside the general. Confused applause transformed into genuine acclaim as recognition spread. The MC extended the microphone with unsteady hands. William accepted it, holding it with the same careful precision he once cradled wounded comrades. I didn't attend seeking recognition, he stated, his voice filling the space without elevation. I came because I was asked to represent those who couldn't be present. He paused, gaze sweeping the room, noting both the engaged and the uncomfortable. Veterans are sleeping beneath overpasses tonight who demonstrated more valor before sunrise than many show throughout lifetimes. They don't require your sympathy. They deserve your respect, even when they're not wearing uniforms that impress you. He turned toward General Blackwood. Thank you, sir, for acknowledging me when others couldn't. But this isn't about me. He returned the microphone and stepped away from the spotlight, uncomfortable with attention, yet unwilling to waste the educational opportunity. The room remained in stunned silence. Then applause erupted, building from scattered acknowledgement to a standing ovation lasting nearly 5 minutes. The hotel's executive director took the stage next, face flushed with embarrassment and determination. Command Sergeant Major Pearson, on behalf of the entire Ridgeway organization, I extend our profound apologies. Tonight's incident represents a failure extending beyond our personnel to our organizational culture. Beginning tomorrow, we're implementing comprehensive changes. William nodded once. Acceptance without enthusiasm. Alexandra Torres, the event coordinator, approached him privately during dinner. I should have personally greeted every veteran, she admitted, not just those in uniform or with visible decorations. Most truly deserving recognition never request it, William replied. By evening's conclusion, his simple jacket had become the most respected attire in the room. Former strangers now engaged with genuine questions about his service, listening attentively to his measured responses. The general shared a final moment with him as the gala concluded. They needed this lesson. Will, perhaps we all did. Myself included, William answered. When departure time arrived, a line of hotel staff stood at attention near the exit, not by directive, but by choice. The bellhop who had made the crucial call stood among them, eyes gleaming with pride. The rainfall had ceased. William paused at the hotel entrance, gazing upward at the clearing sky. Will you attend next year's function? The general inquired. If they invite appropriate guests, William replied. Not exclusively me. I'll personally ensure it. As they walked toward the waiting vehicles, William noticed the hostess and security guard being escorted from the building, carrying personal belongings in boxes. He detoured toward them. Excuse me, he said quietly. They turned, expressions downcast. Everyone deserves redemption, William stated, just as I received in Fallujah when they instructed me to abandon those men. He reached into his pocket and handed each a business card. My colleague operates a veteran support center. They require staff who've learned about respect through difficult experience. Mention my recommendation. Their expressions transformed from shame to disbelief to profound gratitude. As William continued toward the vehicles, the general chuckled. Still rescuing people, aren't you? Ingrained habits, William replied simply. The hotel issued a public statement of apology, terminated the event manager, and contributed $50,000 to veteran housing initiatives. William never expressed satisfaction. Reform the system, he said. Don't modify it solely for me. A viral video of the general's salute reached 9 million views within a week. A new initiative, Recognize First, Judge Never, began training frontline staff at major hotels and venues nationwide. William returned to his quiet existence, but now wherever he appeared, someone invariably stood. Not because he demanded it, but because the world finally perceived him correctly. The Ridgeway Hotel Group implemented organization-wide training focused on recognizing and respecting veterans regardless of appearance or attire. Their CEO personally contacted veterans organizations seeking guidance on meaningful support beyond publicity opportunities. 3 months later, William received another invitation, this time personally delivered by the hotel's newly appointed Director of Veteran Relations, a retired Marine who understood service beyond uniforms. We're implementing something fundamentally different, she explained. Not speeches and champagne, employment opportunities, housing assistance, healthcare resources. Would you help us develop it properly? William agreed with a single condition. Invite the veterans nobody notices, those without shelter, those battling invisible wounds. They require this assistance more urgently than I do. The initiative, now called Service Beyond Uniform, evolved into an annual tradition that expanded to hotels nationwide. No VIP sections, no dress requirements, just authentic support and recognition. 6 months after the incident, the former hostess and security guard completed their training at the Veteran Center. They now conduct workshops on recognizing service beyond appearances. William preserves their thank you messages in the same drawer as his military decorations. To him, both represent identical principles: redemption following failure and the opportunity to rise again with newfound wisdom. When questioned about that rainy evening, William simply responds, sometimes we need recognition. Sometimes we need to recognize others. Both require looking beyond surface impressions. Follow Ironheart Chronicles if you believe quiet dignity speaks louder than medals ever could.